Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Before I get started, I have to go up here and go back to some old comments and remove them. So bear with me just a second. You guys were all in here chatting, which was amazing. But I could have removed them from my computer, but that would have made me block people, and I don't want to do that. So I just want to get these comments out of here. And I think I left a comment up above. One of the standards of our channel here is that we do not talk poorly about any other YouTube creators or anybody else that's doing their own thing. It's just not something that I support. So I do ask that everybody please respect that. You can have your opinions, just please do not voice them here when it comes to negative talk about anybody else and what they're doing on YouTube or Facebook or any of the above. So everybody has a right to do that, and everybody's channel is not the same. So, we can't always agree with everybody. All right. Anyway, let's see who's here. There's a lot of you here already waiting. Thank you, Jenny Anderson. Hey, Mignon. Hey, Soul for Music. Honeybee. Hey, Joe. Doodlebug. Aw, there's so many of you here. Hi, Danielle Colby. Thanks for being here for your first time. Hi, Maui Girl. Hi, Little Bit. You keep yourselves entertained, Glowing Ember. I'm glad to see you here tonight. Thank you. Hey, Donnie and Joni. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you. That's amazing. Let me just keep looking at comments. Aw, Radmila, you're from Australia. That's where Mignon's from. Prayers from Gannon from Tennessee. That's amazing. Love from Florida. There's people everywhere following Gannon's case, and that is awesome. That is just absolutely amazing to see so many people who are taking interest and keeping up with Gannon's case and sending prayers and love and hope for him and his family. Aw, Darwin. Little bit. Sometimes I run just a couple minutes late. I apologize for that, guys. That's like me in real life, too. Everybody knows when I say there, I'll be there at one time. I might be late. I try to do a lot better on YouTube. I actually do a lot better on YouTube on being on time than what I do in real life. So anyways, today is 28 days since Gannon went missing. He's still missing at this very moment. And actually 28 days ago at this time in Colorado, law enforcement had not even arrived to his home yet. So let that sink in for a minute. I'm going to go over just some basics of the case because, quite honestly, at this point, the silence is deafening. We're not hearing much, and that's scary, I think, for everybody, and it leaves everybody unsettled, and everybody wants answers. Understandable. Hi, Joni, you always run late. Me too. My friends actually make fun of me for it. They call it Danielle Standard Time. I run on my own time zone. So, yes, Rebecca, it is very discouraging, extremely discouraging. I have to have faith, and I think we all have to have faith that there's so much silence over Gannon, because there has to be. I think it's important to the integrity of the investigation, and probably to the integrity of getting charges filed with an indictment. Can everybody hear me okay? Golden One says she can't hear me, so I just want to make sure that you can hear me. Yeah, what's interesting, Jill H, is that, okay, Little Bit can hear me. What's interesting, your comment here, you're concerned, no news at all. Why? It's interesting because the last actual TV footage that I know of, media footage that was put out, it didn't even surround Gannon. It was actually a very, very upsetting thing for this channel, and that video has since been pulled down and the article has since been changed. But even when they shared that video that day, it wasn't even news on Gannon. It was like something shared just to make it look like they had a story about Gannon. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it wasn't. No, Tambra, no apology. No apology. None that I have seen. CD, you're pretty sure that there's things going on behind the scenes? I hope so. I hope there are. I'm going to actually go over a couple things regarding, the sheriff's office. Yeah, and Mana, that's exactly what it was. And maybe they thought it would go unnoticed, but it didn't. And I'd like to personally thank all of you who reached out to that media source, who commented, who messaged them, and to all of you that have since messaged and commented in regards to another channel who has used this video as well. I am so unbelievably grateful for that. It's very humbling to see your support, and I am so appreciative of that, because one of the things I do hold myself to high standards for is honesty and integrity. And I appreciate you guys knowing that about me and defending me when it was needed. It did not go unnoticed. If I wasn't able to thank you personally, I just want to let you know that I am so grateful. Very, very grateful for your help and, your protection and coming to my defense when I needed help. Thank you. Aw, Danette, good to see you here, and thank you. Yeah, Musty, if you could send them to me, that would be great. I have quite a few. I have a little thing in the works typed up and trying to gather all of the information so that I have all of it. So, yeah, if you have a way to send that to me, that would be great. Anyways, back to Gannon. So, again, today is 28 days. I'm going to pull up this timeline really quick because there's been some questions about that, and I wanted to get your guys' input and see what you thought in regards to the evening that he went missing. I just gotta get it pulled up here and share it with you really quick. Oops. And make sure I get the right one. And there's also some other, it's kind of newer information just in the last couple hours that a member of my admin team sent me. And I'd also like to give a shout out to everyone who works so diligently and so hard behind the scenes at Real Massacre Talk. I am the voice that comes on here and talks, and I do the lives, but I don't want them to go unnoticed because they do so much research, and we all collectively put a lot of time and effort into this. And I am so thankful for everybody on my team who's helping, with every case that we cover. It's like we all just rally together and we work together and we come up with as much information as we're able to, and I'm so thankful for them. So let me share this really quick. I gotta pull down the banner because sometimes that can interfere with the picture. Oh, thank you, Allison Ray. I appreciate that very much. Oh, thank you, Jill. Oh, thank you, Raquel. Yes, Lufa, I definitely always roll with the truth. That is for sure. And you can't go wrong with the truth. You can't. So, thank you, Joni Lee. You're so sweet. Okay, let's pull up. I want to go over this timeline really quick. I'll go over the El Paso County Sheriff's Office shared today. That was basically the same thing that we've seen every other time, but I'll still go over it. Oops. And let me get it pulled up. It should be coming your way shortly. Okay, so this is the timeline from the day that Gannon went missing. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit really quick. See if I can zoom in so you guys can see it a little better. Okay, I think that's better. So at 3:15 to 4 p.m., Gannon was last seen by his stepmom, Tisha Stauch. However, in a recent news, I don't want to say it was a news conference because it wasn't. It was just like a public update by the spokesperson for the sheriff's office. She did actually say that, that time was the time that was said by Tisha. She point blank said, the sheriff's office did not say that time. This was said elsewhere. So, this is actually a timeline provided by a media source, and it's fair of them to put that time of 3:15 to 4 p.m. on there because Tisha is the one who did put that out there publicly. But I do know that the sheriff's office will not say that that is a time that he was last seen. And then you move on to 6:55 p.m., the 911 call to dispatch reporting the missing child. That is when 911 was called for Gannon being a runaway. And then you have this huge time gap, almost 7 p.m. and a little after 10 p.m. At 10:09 p.m., deputies arrived on the scene. I think some of my actual team members earlier, we were questioning why over a 3-hour time lapse, like 3 hours and almost 15 minutes in between when the call was placed and when deputies arrived. And this is my thoughts. If I'm wrong, please tell me, or if you think I'm wrong or you have a different input, definitely let me know, because we love to hear all ideas and different perspectives. But my thought was maybe because if Gannon was reported as a runaway is considered voluntarily missing. And voluntarily missing, I feel like that would maybe take a backseat to other calls that came in that time frame. I'm not sure how that works, but that's one of my theories on why it took police 3 hours and 15 minutes to arrive. at the home. If anybody has any other... Oh, is there another timeline, Becca? Okay. Okay. I'll have to look for that. Yeah, yeah, that definitely would have given T time right there, because she had that time lapse from when she called and when when law enforcement showed up. And then after law enforcement showed up, they began searching right away. It wasn't until 11 a.m. the next morning on January 28th that social media released missing child information. At 12:29 p.m., investigators assumed responsibility for the case. And at 12:30 p.m. the next day after Gannon went missing, a neighborhood canvass began, initiated by patrol. And then 2 days later, at 3:17 p.m., a media release announcing major crimes, assuming responsibility for the case. The next day is the day on January 30th where Gannon's status was changed from missing, or from runaway to missing and endangered. So that just gives you a brief synopsis of what happened in those first couple days and early hours of Gannon missing. I gotta check some messages really quick. Huh. So, with that said, I think that is an important question that should be asked. I do think that is something that should be asked and should maybe be clarified if this is accurate, and if so, why there was a delay in law enforcement arriving. That's a long time. That's a long time. And you have to add in the fact that, there's also that time from when Tisha arrived until she reported him missing too. There's a lot of unaccounted for time on this day, on January 27th. And that's the first hours that a child is missing is critical to finding them safely. And CD said a runaway would have lower priority than just a missing or abducted child. I thought so, because they consider a runaway, no matter the age, unfortunately, unless, I'm not sure that 5-year-olds run away, but a runaway is considered voluntarily missing. So if other calls came in the meantime and law enforcement deemed those more critical to answer, then that could be the delay. I'm not sure. An answer to that would be good to know. I feel like that is something that El Paso County Sheriff's Office could clarify. So, yeah. And we'll go right over to the sheriff's update. Actually, I'll read that. I will read that, and let me pull it up. Okay. Does anybody notice who's not in this picture? This is a new picture today. This is a new, what would you call it? A photo montage released today by the sheriff's office. And you can clearly see who is not in that picture. And I will go ahead and read their update for today. just got to pull it up. Okay, so today, I don't know if I have a timestamp or not. They didn't timestamp this one. Huh, okay. Update on the Gannon Stauch investigation from El Paso County Sheriff's Office, February 24th, 2020. Today marks 4 weeks since Gannon went missing. We cannot imagine the ongoing pain Gannon's family must be feeling. To not know where your child is every parent's worst nightmare. To not know what happened makes this situation more excruciating. We acknowledge the grief and heartache his family is experiencing. We appreciate the community's support and continue to encourage you all to keep Gannon's family in your thoughts and prayers. We continue to make progress in this investigation and are using every resource to find Gannon and bring him home. To date, we have received 768 tips. All tips are being explored, and all viable leads are being followed up on until they are exhausted. If you have factual information, we ask you to call the Sheriff's Office tip line at 719-520-6666 or email tips@elpasoco.com. This is still a very active and fluid investigation with the potential for search efforts to happen at any time. Information will be released as the investigation allows. The Sheriff's Office PIO will be available from 4:30 to 5 p.m. today for interviews. So they are making themselves available for interviews. And if there's any media listening, any reporters listening who are local to Denver, I would perhaps maybe encourage you to ask them if they know why there was a 3-hour time lapse in between when the 911 call was made and when deputies arrived on scene, or if they could clarify that if that's not true. So, what else do I have here? I like that too, Amanda. I do. I think it was very sweet of them, to acknowledge the pain and suffering that the family is going through. Absolutely. Oh, Dawn. Okay. After tomorrow, your weather will be beautiful out there. No snow until next Monday. That could change, but more than likely won't. Well, look at that. You're in Colorado. You're going to be getting beautiful weather, and I have a snowstorm headed my way Wednesday. So enjoy your beautiful weather, and let's pray that break in weather will maybe, produce some evidence or something relevant to Gannon's case. Hey, Irish. Oh, you saw her Adidas sweatshirt. Actually, I ran to the store earlier tonight and I actually bought an Adidas hoodie, and that's the first person I thought of was Landon. Oh, you're welcome, Jill. You're welcome. Raquel, yes, it was very different and warm. Ooh, thunderstorms. I love thunderstorms, but I prefer like summer thunderstorms. Yeah, Thursday's Child. I'm sure his parents are climbing the walls. I can't imagine. I agree to not apply some pressure. It is important to take into account that the FBI is working this case. So they are, I would imagine, calling the shots and doing all that they can do. Um, yeah, Joe, you could definitely tell that she was barely holding it together in her interview, her last interview that we saw over the past, was it Saturday or Friday night? So basically, what we know about Gannon's case is we know very little. We know that law enforcement is tight-lipped. We know that 3 vehicles have been seized, and all 3 of those vehicles belong to the Stauch family. One of them is Albert's truck, one of them is Tisha's SUV, and one of them is Tisha's daughter's white Jetta. We know that the crime lab has been to the home at least 5 times, possibly 6. I didn't go back and tally that up before I came on tonight, so they've been there numerous times, the most recent time being at the end of last week. Hey, Amy. And this is the most puzzling thing to me, and I'm not in any way challenging law enforcement. I'm not doing that. I respect what they're doing, but I have big questions about why there is no reward and why a family member has spoken out against a reward publicly and also against a billboard. I don't understand that. Why? Why? I haven't actually, Allison. If you want to tag her, that would be great. Feel free. You can tag Real Massacre Talk too. We are on Twitter. It's Real Massacre and then TLK. That is our Twitter handle. So I just wanted to show you guys something that was released today. This was sent to me by one of you down in the chat. And I did want to share this to you. I have to get it pulled up really quick. Is anybody following the case of Evelyn Boswell? That's a heartbreaking one. I had thought about covering it, but I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a lot of people covering it. I got to do some research on that and see what I can come up with. Hopefully I can maybe put something together this week for her. And my focus is going to stay on Gannon. Absolutely. Absolutely going to stay on Gannon. So please don't think that I'm not going to continue to focus on him even when I don't have anything to talk about. I'll come on here and talk just to keep his name out there. But I really would like to look into her case because it's very bothering to me. I just it breaks my heart. I just keep seeing all these kids popping up all over my news feed on Facebook and on the news, and I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with this country? What is wrong with them? What is going on that kids are missing and then they're not reported missing for a significant amount of time? And you're talking babies, and what is wrong, you guys? It's so hard on your heart to see these things and know that kids are innocent and they are defenseless and they're just, I don't know. I'll never understand it. I'm pulling up the video. Just bear with me for 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. Evelyn is a beautiful baby. She's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Allison. Thank you. That would be awesome. That's a good thought, is that they might know most of what happened, can't make an arrest yet, so a reward and billboard will not do any good. But see, what's confusing to me is, to my understanding, even the family doesn't have very much knowledge of what's going on in the investigation. So with that said, if the family isn't aware of what's going on in the investigation because law enforcement has remained so quiet, why is there a family member that is so outspoken and downright brutal and slanderous when other family members try to create a fundraiser for a billboard. I mean, I'm here to say if there's a fundraiser for a billboard that goes up at some point in time, I will 100% donate to it because I do think that awareness is needed. I pray that Gannon comes home every single night. And at the same time, you have to be proactive when a child is missing. You have to exhaust all efforts. And I know that law enforcement cannot prohibit a reward or a GoFundMe. You can actually do the research on that. So this is specifically seems to be coming from one person who's so against these. I don't know what that means. I don't know, but I don't like it. And that's my opinion. So I'm waiting for this thing for Evelyn to show up because I'm not sure why they're not doing this with Gannon or why this hasn't been done with Gannon. Hold on. Oops. There's also been some interesting new information today about Tisha that I'm going to go over as well. But I want to play this video for Evelyn just because I do want to bring awareness to her case as well. And I also, if I could get it to, there we go. I also want to understand why this isn't happening with Gannon. I know it's different police departments, and I know that every law enforcement agency handles things differently and every case is different. But I thought that this was a great thing when I saw this tonight when it was sent to me. If it will load. I think StreamYard is the problem. Because everything works fine without StreamYard. It's crazy. Let me... Well, I didn't mean to highlight that comment, but... Let me go up and see what Thursday said. Oh, she's over there in Tennessee where Evelyn is missing. Oh, wow. Let us know Thursday's child. I gotta get that. Casey, I love your comment. I just didn't mean to put it up on the screen. Actually, the last reward I saw for her was it 38K or was it 53,000 that had been raised so far as of last night? I don't know. This video is not gonna play. Maybe it will. Okay, maybe it will. Let's go. Let's get it on the screen. Oops. It's coming, I promise.
15-month-old girl missed.
If I can get it to work.
From TBI headquarters, I'm Josh Devine. Here's the latest in our ongoing search for Evelyn May Boswell. As you'll remember, she is a 15-month-old girl missing from Upper East Tennessee. She's white with blonde hair and blue eyes. She stands 2 feet tall and weighs 28 pounds and has been the subject of an Amber Alert for several days now in Tennessee. We know you have a lot of questions about. So do we. We thought we would take the time to answer a couple of frequently asked questions we've been seeing across social.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure something out when it comes to StreamYard because it seems to not, it lags when I share videos. It's crazy. But they've issued an Amber Alert for this little girl today. And yeah, I didn't. Is my mic echoing? Because it wasn't going through my mic, so I'm not sure. Anyways, Trina says you think the difference is that they know who did it with Gannon's case, and I'm thinking they're waiting for testing to come back. There's no way they search one area for 5 days and come up with nothing. That's a good point. That's a good point. Thanks, Daily Dale. I was going to do that. I just didn't really have time to do that. So I'm not really sure. StreamYard, sometimes it works great, and then other times it does not cooperate. So anyways, I guess we just really don't know. We really don't know. Nikki Burton wants to know, how long will the search go on in the UK? Oh, in the UK, they do stop after a while. It breaks my heart for Gannon and the little girlie. I think as of now, there are no active searches for Gannon. So they did search all last week for him. Or not for him. They said they were searching for evidence or, you know, whatever they told us. But, oh, it's up to 56,000. Okay. I'm with you, Casey. A reward can also bring the truth, but I guess we're just outsiders looking in, and those answers will come at some point, hopefully. Hopefully. But let's move on over to Tisha and some of the new things that have came up today. So today is her 4th day of silence, with her not speaking on social media anywhere except she's got a new GoFundMe. And I can actually read the GoFundMe to you. I'm not going to put it up because I don't want to promote it in any way. You can find it. I think it's posted in our Facebook group, though. And the GoFundMe is... Let's see. I gotta go way back because I got it way early this morning. Yeah, JA. Yeah. I've said that and I've thought that maybe this is the calm before the storm. The GoFundMe is titled Tisha and Harley Support. There's a goal set of $2,000. I can share it with you guys if I can get to it after I'm done reading it. So far, as of this morning, there was $110 raised. There might be more raised by now, but this is what it says. It was created. So at 7:54 this morning, it had been created 13 hours ago. So about 6:50 last night, it was created. And it is titled Dreams, Hopes, and Wishes. Tisha is one of my best friends, and Harley is a niece to me. They are both beautiful, smart, amazing people. They are going through a very hard time at the moment. The public has been threatening both of them, so they have to be careful and haven't been working. Harley goes to basic training soon for the Air Force Reserves. I'm trying to raise money to help them until this is all over and Gannon comes home safe. Tisha loves him and has raised him for years. Harley truly misses her little brother. I wish the public didn't act this way, but unfortunately they do. If you can help in any way, they would be very appreciative. They don't have their cars or phones, but still have to pay for them, so I'm trying to help them with at least those payments. So, no, it's not CC Love. This is Tisha's GoFundMe that she has posted. I am reading it. I didn't put it up on the screen because I'm not going to encourage people to go look at it and find it and give her money. And yeah, it does sound like familiar writing, doesn't it, Doodlebug? So yeah, that's her newest GoFundMe. That's her newest one. I noticed that, Daily Dale. She barely acknowledged him on her YouTube videos, but... Yeah, what's the other news on Tisha? Jose Baez sent out a tweet today saying that he is not representing Tisha and for nobody to contact his law firm again. That's the second time he's clarified that he's not representing her. Another thing I wanted to point out is that so far we have zero official confirmation of a rental car. I know there's stuff been posted on Facebook, and I'm not saying I don't believe people, because I do for the most part like to believe people. I can't confirm things as facts unless I know them to be fact myself. But we do know that when Tisha left that day in that truck, she left in Albert's truck and her SUV was in the driveway. And when she came back, her SUV was still in the driveway. So at least that day, she had both hers and Al's vehicle in her possession. And both of those cars were seized by police. And the third car that was seized was Harley's vehicle. It's okay, Cece. It's okay. Yeah, JA. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pull this up and go over this. And I think I saved it. I didn't plan on going on live tonight, guys. So, and then I was like, well, nope, I'm going to go on live because it's been a month today and Gannon's name needs to be kept out there. So I'll just wing it and hopefully I can inform everybody of what I do know. Everybody has been wondering why Tisha left Alaska when Albert was stationed there. And so we have the answer for that. But what I'd also like to acknowledge that this answer may also play a role when it comes to some answers about Gannon's disappearance, not with this specific person, but just with T's history itself. She seems to have a pattern, and this is an interesting one to look at. All right, let's just get it up on the screen. I gotta make it bigger because if I can't read it, you can't read it, right? So this was an email sent by the Assistant Chief of Staff in the military up in Fort Greely, Colorado, which is where they were stationed. And it references a phone interview. Hold on, let me make my screen bigger for you guys. There we go. And it references a phone interview. And it goes on to say, phone interview with Mrs. Tisha Stauch and LTC Emma Thien, Alaska Army National Guard Assistant Chief of Staff, November 18th, 10:30 to 11:15 hours, Alaska time. The purpose is LTC Thien called Mrs. Stauch for the purpose of gathering information regarding contacts between Mrs. Stauch and Lieutenant Corporal Orlando Ortega. Contacts. On November 5th, 2018, Mrs. Stauch stated she called Lieutenant Corporal Ortega back at, it's redacted, in a response to missed calls from Lieutenant Corporal Ortega on November 2nd and November 3rd, 2018. LTC Thien has screenshots that says yesterday. Mrs. Stauch states the date was November 5th, 2018. It goes on to read. Oops, I gotta drag it up like this. That's as big as I can make it. It goes on to read that Lieutenant Corporal Ortega sent email to Mrs. Stauch. Subject, hi you. Email read, Tisha, I wanted to let you know I spoke with CPT Jenkins and he and I talked about his actions. He admitted to saying the comments to you and making moves on you. You could reach out to the EO office and ask them to reopen your case. I showed my commitment to you by getting this information for you. It could work. He doesn't have to hurt you anymore, and you do not have to settle for someone harassing you. We can take him down together. Regards, Orlando. Lieutenant Corporal Ortega sent another email to Mrs. Stauch that says, subject, trip. The email read, how about we meet in Oregon or even Salt Lake City? There are nice vineyards there and dancing. Are you coming back to Alaska? Do not let him keep you away. They will not do anything with him because he is good friends with Joel and Michael. Email me back. No one needs to know. Regards, OO. On November 3rd, 2018, Mrs. Stauch stated she had missed a call from Lieutenant Corporal Ortega's phone number. Lieutenant Corporal Thyan requested a screenshot from Mrs. Stauch's iPhone that Mrs. Stauch will email to Corporal Gilbert. On November 2nd, 2018, Mrs. Stauch stated she had missed a phone call from Lieutenant Corporal's phone number. Lieutenant Corporal Thyan requested a screenshot from Mrs. Stauch's iPhone that Mrs. Stauch will email to, I can't read it, Corporal Gilbert. Okay, on October 10th, 2018, Mrs. Stauch stated she received a voicemail from Lieutenant Corporal Ortega, and Mrs. Stauch stated Lieutenant Corporal Ortega apologized to her. Lieutenant Corporal Thyan has the screenshot. On August 26, 2018, Mrs. Stauch stated she received a voicemail from Lieutenant Corporal Ortega, and Mrs. Stauch stated Lieutenant Ortega wanted to give her an update on the investigation. Lieutenant Thyan has a screenshot. On September 11th, 2017, Lieutenant Corporal Ortega sent an email to Mrs. Stauch, subject, regarding join my ESPN Fantasy Football League. The email read, "Did you play this weekend? I do hope you guys are safe." So that does give a little bit of insight, right? It gives a little bit of insight on why T and Albert left Alaska. I want to read some comments. This is a lieutenant in the Army, Daily Dale, who was stationed in Alaska, who appears to be the side man of Tisha while she was in Alaska and married to Albert. And everybody has wondered why Tisha left Alaska with the kids, because they were stationed there in 2017, at least until May of 2018 that we know of. But it looks like now we can at least pinpoint them. Well, in August of 2018, we know she was in South Carolina trying to teach. So it looks like it's some type of affair that happened. And Tisha left Alaska and came back to South Carolina with Gannon and Lena. Cece, I actually don't feel comfortable sharing my theory. I'm sorry. I appreciate you asking, though. Yeah, that's a great point, Danette. Amy, do you know, Amy knows the same stuff that I know, but she might be able to explain it a little better than what I did. Oh, I just got... Hold on, I'm going to open this message because it's about Gannon. Okay, so Gannon was, the night that he went missing, he was entered into the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, I believe, he was entered into national and state databases as an active runaway at 7:32 p.m. But I believe that they can do that without being Allison, that's funny. Without being at the scene. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that and see why the timeline is different. Or why, if I can find a precise time besides what the media has said about when Gannon or when law enforcement arrived at the home. So I guess I should back up a little bit and say it's just my theory that Letitia was having an affair on her husband in Alaska with a lieutenant, and somehow they got caught up in that. And she left Alaska, and that's been a big question from people on why she left Alaska. I know it's been a huge question among our admin team. So yeah, it was about 2 years ago, but it's relevant. It's relevant because they were stationed in Colorado, and when you're looking at people, you have to look at patterns in their life. You have to look at things that makes them who they are. And while this was in 2018, I'd like you to also keep in mind that they were stationed in Alaska as a family, and that is relevant because Tisha left Alaska with Albert's kids, went back to South Carolina, tried to start teaching there, got herself in trouble with one of the school districts because we went over that. She did a couple things that were unacceptable. And then Albert, he had to have requested a transfer, and they ended up in Colorado. And it was in January of 2019 that they moved into the home in Colorado that Gannon is missing from today. So when we cover cases, we try to give a timeline, of different things that have happened. Because when you to understand a case, you have to understand the individuals involved. And you have to look at their patterns, you have to look at the people, you have to look at what they do and what they stand for. And this does appear to be a trend in T's life. So that brings me back. Yeah, we are all trying to figure out the whole entire thing. That's how we do it. We want to know every piece of information, and one of our mottos, or one of my mottos, is everything is relevant until it is not. This woman is on a sugar daddy site, actively on a sugar daddy site while she is married. I mean, she logged into it. It appears that she logged into it the day before Gannon went missing. And the last time we had checked, she had logged in again on like February 9th or something like that. So it's just, she's got a pattern, she's got a history here, and you have to look at all angles. Is that something that should be considered? Is it possible that she was having an affair on Albert again in Colorado? I think it's something that's relevant. I think it's something law enforcement has probably looked at, because they always look at the relationships of the adults involved, whether it's in regards to a case that concerns an adult or a child. That is absolutely true, Peggy. If they'll cheat with you, they will cheat on you. So it's very possible she was having an affair. Oh, thank you, Charlie Hunt. Thank you for that. Well, I'm not sure, Lisa Avery. I'm not sure what the drama surrounding Tisha is all about. We we really need to understand everybody in this case from beginning to end, and that includes Landon and Albert, even though their child is missing. And I do think it's important that we need to understand, because you need to understand, first of all, what kind of lifestyle Gannon was living in. You have to understand that. Yeah, Tisha, I'm with you. Um, you can't really look at a case and not know everything. Yes, no stone left unturned. You have to look at everything. Cece, you're okay. You're okay. So with that said, that is about all we have. There's nothing new. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss, or anything you want to go over? Any questions? Yeah. I think my opinion would be that her character is questionable. I've not met her in person, so I don't know. But as an outsider looking in, it's not looking very favorable for her. Yeah, Connie, I mean, that's the thing. Joe, I think that's a relevant question. Absolutely. I mean, what's everybody's first instinct to do if they're cheating? The first instinct would be to lie and hide about it. And if you get caught doing it, then you have a problem. Your life becomes disrupted. Your happy little home that you're living in with I don't know, say you're a woman, just hypothetically living in Colorado, and you're married to a man who is very high ranked in the military, who provides you a very nice lifestyle. What do you have to lose if you get caught cheating? What do you have to lose if your stepson happened to see something? I don't know. Daily Dale, I don't know any truth to that. None at all. And I agree with you 100%, Manda. The search sites weren't for nothing. We should remain hopeful. They know a lot more than has been reported. Absolutely, they know a lot more. If you guys notice, another thing I wanted to point out is that it appears that none of them have their vehicles back yet. And those vehicles, I believe, were seized like the first week. It was after or around the time that Gannon was reported missing and endangered. Those vehicles were seized, and to my knowledge, police still has them. That's acknowledged in Tisha's friend's latest fundraiser for T, saying that T and Harley, neither one, have vehicles. So police are holding on to those, and that's a pretty significant thing. That's a pretty significant thing that they would hold on to the vehicles. 3 of them. Not 1, not 2, but all 3 vehicles owned by Al and Tisha. I don't know if Tisha owns them. I would imagine I think Amy and I were discussing this earlier. To our knowledge, we have not been able to pin down any employment of Tisha in Colorado. And in order, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll own it. That's fine. But in order to get financed for a brand new 2019 vehicle, you have to have an income. So I would imagine that those vehicles are probably in Al's name. I'll check it out, Daily Dale. Thank you. Rebecca Carr, can they legally hold all these things without calling this a criminal investigation? Yes, well, they don't have to call it a criminal investigation to the public. They don't have to tell us anything. Yeah, and Connie, you're correct. For them to seize those vehicles, they did have to have a warrant. And in order to get a warrant, you have to have probable cause. And you cannot lie on a probable cause affidavit in order to get a warrant. The information has to be factual. That is a fact. You just can't. Because if you lie in order to get a warrant, anything that you obtain in that vehicle as evidence or potential evidence, and you lied on the affidavit to get the warrant, then all that evidence becomes inadmissible in court. So, yeah, Bernadette, that is one of the lingering questions that we all have. We definitely would all like to know that. I'm sorry, what is the PF case, JA? That's very possible, Becca. Very possible. And, law enforcement doesn't have to tell us anything. And judges have to sign off on those warrants in order to seize those vehicles. And I feel like it's very telling that none of those vehicles have been returned yet. To our knowledge, the last photo I saw of Albert's home, the red truck wasn't outside. And, Tisha's friend has made it public within the GoFundMe that neither her or Harley have a vehicle. So Patrick Frazee, sorry. Should have known that. Oh, that flew over my head. It's late. It's been a long day. Last week was a long week, long day. Cece, it did seem like she was leading her. Is anybody else having problems, or is it just Kelly girl having problems with buffering and hearing me? Matt, your question is, has T's daughter been allowed home with Biomom? Are you asking if Tisha's daughter Harley has been allowed home with Landon? Okay, thank you. Yeah, at this point, Harley's a minor. I don't really like to discuss her much because she's only 17 years old. She is essentially a child. Yes, that GoFundMe said that they weren't working. J8, we do not know. We do not know if the little sister has been asked that. I would think that it would be a safe assumption that law enforcement has probably did a forensic interview on Lena. They're not going to tell us, though. Amanda said she feels so bad for Harley. People have speculated she had something to do with it, but I don't think so. Yeah, I agree with you. I watching, I pointed this out to True Helper. I spoke with him on the phone last night for quite a while, quite a couple hours actually, and we had some discussions about this case, and I sent him a link to actually look at Harley's vlogs on YouTube because I see, maybe I'm overthinking it. I can tend to be an overthinker, but I see Harley being very, very submissive. You can notice in the videos where she's at her house that she is very quiet, very timid, almost like she's trying to fly under the radar in her house or something. I don't know. I just get a vibe from it that maybe something, you know, I could be wrong, but that's a good question. Hey, Mojo. So I'm not the only one. Oops, I hit the wrong. Audra, that's a great question. I'm not the only way that feels like that, Tisha Renee. Because I thought that that's what I was seeing. I thought maybe I was overthinking it, or that I was looking too deep into her over timidness. She's very, very timid. So yeah, Lila, that's possible. And Mata, your comment cut off. What are baby voices indicative of? Yeah, Tisha. Abusive children act very timid and submissive. Absolutely. Thank you, Cece. You're so sweet. Yeah, I just, you know, I tend to think when a child is quiet and meek and as timid as what Harley was, is that there's some type of fear there. I don't know. I have 2 boys, and I can assure you that neither one of them are timid. They're loud and they're boisterous, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yes, Maui girl, you heard that correctly. Tisha definitely made her talk in that interview. I agree with you, Amy. Some type of controlling parent. Something's going on there. Just as an outsider looking in. It depends on the child, Connie. Okay. Yeah, Danette, they do have a lot going on. Absolutely, CD. Children do want to please their parents. They do. That is their. You know, Danette, I keep coming back to that every time. Every time I think, okay, maybe it could be this. Maybe it could be that. I keep going back to the beginning, but I also keep going back to that surveillance footage and what is not shown on there. And I know that people have pointed out a shadow and stuff, but the Real Massacre Talk team has actually all looked at that shadow, and that shadow appeared to be in the driveway before she pulled in. So that's interesting about Harley's friends' comments. The chat's moving fast, guys. It's hard for me to keep up. That makes sense. It does depend on the child. Some abused children go wayward, some go inward, personality depending. Yeah, I just, she was timid. She was quiet. It was almost like she was tiptoeing through her own house. That could just be her personality. Or maybe she didn't want to wake people up. But I did notice the 2 videos that she filmed at home were very, very, very soft voice and timid and meek. And then she has a video in her car, actually, with her friend, and she's a little bit more outgoing in that. Star Shooters, that is a report from Alaska giving some information on Tisha. You can rewind it and hear it all be read. Aw, Lufa, I'm sorry you went through that. Definitely a weird news interview. Definitely strange. Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to definitely be on here more this week. I'm going to try to get some stuff out on Evelyn's case as soon as I can get caught up on that. Sure, you can ask another question, Cece. Go ahead. She didn't know her phone was on. That's what she said. That's what she said when she had recorded the video of Gannon. That she didn't realize her phone was on, but it seems pretty coincidental to me. That's my opinion. Because in the beginning of the video, she's like talking to Lena, and then she walks out of Lena's room, out into the living room. And then when she gets to where Gannon is, it goes completely black. Aw, happy birthday, Hybrid Pisces. Happy birthday to you. You're welcome, Amanda. Thank you for being here and supporting me. Good night, Dawn. So I guess make sure you guys leave your blue hearts for Gannon. Show some love for his family. Keep the hope alive. Keep praying, sending good vibes, positive thoughts, whatever your beliefs are. Don't give up on him coming home safely. And pray for his family. Send them some good vibes and love and positive thoughts and happy wishes and all of the above. Anything positive that you can do. Okay. Thank you, Roaz. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. Aww. You guys are sweet. And again, thank you to my amazing mods down there. I love you all. Amy, you're the best. Joe, Mignon, Irish is down there. Doodlebug's down there. You guys are all awesome. And I love you all. And I'm so thankful for you all. I wouldn't be able to get on here and stream because you do so much work down there in the chat. And I totally appreciate it more than you will ever know. So with that said, keep dropping your blue hearts, guys. I am going to sign off for the night. I gotta go to bed soon, but let's hope that tomorrow is the day for Gannon to come home. I will talk to you guys all later.